How do we use the multiples? There are two types of multiples. Number one, you have multiples which are financial in nature, and then you have multiples which are non-financial in nature. And we use these multiples for the purpose of arriving at a fair value. And let's pick a few examples. So the first example that we have for arriving at fair value using the second level of input, that is multiples. So you have a cash flow multiple. Now friends, please pay attention. So what you have a company which is valued, and valued in recent past. You know that figure of value of that company. Now you can use valuation of that company for valuing your own company or the company for which you want to do the valuation. How will you do it? So you know and let's say that company is X. You know the value of the company X is so much. Divide the value of the company X by the cash flow of that company. It will give you cash flow multiple. And that means what? That means value of company X is so many times of its cash flow. Value of company X is so many times of its cash flow. So you have this multiple available with you. Now what you do? You pick up this multiple of company X, multiply this multiple with your own cash flow. So when you multiply the multiple of company X with your own cash flow, the amount that you arrive is supposed to be fair value of your company. So this is how you will use the cash flow multiple. Then you have sales multiples. Now sales multiples, friends, are more useful in case of early stage companies which are loss making at the EBITDA or at the PAT level. So generally what will happen? Startup will not start making profit immediately after it is brought into existence. It'll take some time before the company starts making profit. So what do you do? Such companies can be valued based on the sales multiple. So how do you do the valuation of such companies based on sales multiple? Because they do not have EBITDA, they do not have the PAT. So you can't use the EBITDA for valuation, you can't use the PAT for valuation. The thing that you can use for the purpose of valuation is the sales. And please remember, what is the logic in using multiples? That is what you must understand. The logic of using multiples for arriving at the value, the logic is, if company X's multiple cash flow multiple is coming 10, if company X's cash flow multiple is coming 10, since the company X is in the same product line as I am, since everything that company X is doing I am also doing, therefore in my case also the multiple should come to 10. That is the logic, friends, in using the multiple. And therefore, since it is a established multiple of a company which has been valued, value is available, I am using his multiple to arrive at my value. So as the cash flow can be used as a multiple for arriving at the valuation of your company or the company for which you want to do valuation. In case of a startup company which does not have positive EBITDA, which does not have positive profit after tax, that means how do you do the evaluation? So the only information that you will have regarding the startup company is about the sales. So what you do, find out which company is in the same kind of product line as the company for which you are doing the valuation. Pick up that company and see that research all of us will need to do. Pick up that company. Find out valuation of that company if it is readily available, or otherwise you will have to do some sourcing. So if you have a company available, you know the value of this company. You also know that this company is identical with the startup. So what you do, the value of this company, let us say that company is B, value of this company B divided it by the sales of the company B. What you will get in your hand is sales multiple, and use that sales multiple for doing valuation of this startup. That means what? That means how did you arrive at the sales multiple? You took the value of company B, divided the value of company B by the sales of company B. So now what you do, this multiple you multiply. Let's say that multiple is coming 15. Multiply that multiple of 15 with your sales, and that becomes the value of your company, a fair value of your company, which is in line with the index, So that means that will take care of the reporting requirements in case if the index is applicable in your case. Friends, one thing I would like to repeat here once again: the objective of the index 113 is more to do with the financial reporting, and therefore whatever has been given in index, as far as the reporting is concerned, disclosures are concerned, those will have to be followed strictly out there. As far as valuation is concerned, you have a choice. As we have discussed earlier, you have a choice. So you can use one method if it is convincing enough for you about the valuation of the entity for which you are doing the valuation. If it is not convincing, then you can use multiple methods, and then you can do the averaging, simple averaging or weighted averaging, as may be appropriate in your judgment and understanding and discretion. Then you have EBITDA multiple, and I am sure, friends, all of you must have heard so many times, EBITDA multiples are used very commonly. What is the value of this company? This value of this company must be EBITDA multiples of 10. Multiple of 10 should be multiple of EBITDA 10 should be the value of this company. That means what? That means whatever is the EBITDA of this company, multiply that with 10, and that will give you fair value of this company. So this is how you will use EBITDA for the purpose of valuation. EBITDA for the purpose of finding out the fair value as per index 113. Then you also.
Sir, can you explain the answer? Why do we multiply with the 10, sir?
Yeah, because as we saw in the first two examples, Ankit, about the cash flow multiple, we saw it was 10. About the sales multiple, we found out for the company, for the comparable company, it was 15. Likewise, in case of EBITDA, we found out that for the industry to which this company belongs, the EBITDA multiple is 10. So all the for the entire industry or the company of your type. So you have the valuation available of a company which is of your type, and what you did, same thing. You found out you had the value information available, so divided the value by the EBITDA of that company. The figure that you arrived, value divided by EBITDA, the number came 10. So that is your EBITDA multiple of 10. So if you have to find out the value of your company, you need to find out the EBITDA of your company, multiply it with 10, and that will give you fair value of this entity which you are valuing. Then friends, we have PAT multiple, or price to earning multiple, very commonly used. I am sure all of you must have heard of it many times. So PE multiple, friends, is one information which is readily available on the stock exchange about the entire economy, entire industry, different industries. So if your company belongs to the steel industry, you can go to the BSE or NSE or any of these portals, and you can find out as to what is the PE multiple of the cement industry. So that means if suppose that number is available to you, and that number is coming to, let's say, 20. So PE multiple of the cement industry which is available to you is 20. So if you want to find out the fair value of your company, what you need to do, PE multiple, P is for price, E is for earning per share. So when the price of the company which you need to find out, divided by the earning per share of your company, and PE multiple of 20 is available with you. So what you need to do, simple mathematics, your earning per share into the PE multiple of 20 is going to be the fair value of your entity using the PE multiple. So friends, this is how you will use the multiples for the purpose of finding out fair value of the entities using the second label input as per the index. Okay, does it make sense to everyone? Can I go to the next slide? Sanjay, Ritesh, Surya.
When we reverse the multiple PE, go ahead.
Yes, Devang, please go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, I have one question.
Yes.
You have brought in the PAT multiple. When you reverse the multiple to P by B, does that mean?
Yeah. Okay. This metric is ideal for helping investors understand what the market is willing to pay for the company's earnings when you reverse the multiple to EP. So, P is the price and E is the earning per share. So, whatever, if you're, let's say, for example, please pay attention. If, let's say, based on the multiple method that we discussed, P multiple, the value is coming 200 rupees. For the sake of example, the price is coming 200 rupees. And the EPS of this company is, let's say, 20 rupees. So please pay attention. EPS is 20 rupees, price is 200 rupees. That means you are investing 200 rupees, and on that 200 rupees, you are getting an earning of 20 rupees. That means you are getting a return of 10%. That is the meaning of, if you reverse the PE ratio to EP ratio, it gives you an idea as to what kind of return you are going to earn on this investment. Kamal, does it answer your question?
Not really.
Okay, tell me, where are you confused?
I just when you say that P converted to EP.
So that is the reverse. Convert meaning, PE is price upon earning per share.
Yeah.
PE is price meaning market price.
Yes, I got it.
Market price of the share upon EPS. So that is PE ratio. The reverse of PE ratio is EP ratio.
Yeah.
So you take the earning per share in the numerator and take the market price in denominator.
Okay.
So if you analyze this number, what is coming on the numerator? EPS. That is what is the earning you are getting. Because company's EPS is the shareholders' earning, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it? Because what EPS ultimately belongs to the shareholder. So EPS divided by the market price, that is your investment. So that gives you an idea as to what percentage of return you are getting on your investment. So if the current market price is 200 rupees, right, and you purchase the price share at 200 rupees, and if the EPS of the company is as I said 20 rupees, so wait a minute. So you are earning 20 rupees on an investment of 200 rupees.
100 rupees, yes.
So that is your return is 10%.
10%.
So that is the meaning of this. So that means please pay attention. That means if your Kamal, very interesting. If your return expectation is 10% and EPS of this company is 20, you will be prepared to buy the share of this company at 200 rupees. Why? Because if you buy the share of this company at 200 rupees, this company is giving you an EPS of 20. That means you are getting a return of 10%, which is your expectation. If this same share was available to you at 220, will you take it?
Yes.
Will you take it if the share is available to you at 220?
I'm getting 20%.
Are you getting 20%?
I'm getting
Less than 10%.
less than 10%. Yeah.
So will you buy it?
No, then I will not buy.
Yeah, exactly. So that is what it is. If you reverse it, it tells you as to what the shareholders are prepared to pay for your share. So if your return expectation is 10%, you will be happy to buy it at 200 rupees.
200 rupees, yeah.
But if this share is available to you at 210 or 220 rupees,
Then I will not buy it.
and then you will not buy it actually. That is what it means actually. Yeah.
Got it.
All right. I think somebody in between also spoke. You can please go ahead and ask me whatever question that you may have. Yeah. Okay. So nobody. Then I think I can move. Okay, now let's look at, friends, some of the multiples which are non-financial multiples. Again, very interesting, friends, and I'm sure you can very easily understand. So, how do you use the non-financial multiples for arriving at the valuation? Let's say you're talking about a cement company, okay, and you want to find out the value of your company. So, what do? Uh, you will have to source valuation information of another cement company. So let's say you find out the valuation of ACC, and interestingly, all of you, many of these valuation reports are available in the public domain. So if you want to find out you want to find out any valuation report of any company, you can go to the website of the NSE, BSE, and I think there are some other portals also where you will have the valuation reports available of different companies. So what you will need to do, you are a cement company, you want to find out as to what should be the fair value of your company. So what do? You catch hold of information of valuation of another cement company, find out what is the capacity of that cement company. What is the capacity of that cement company? So you know the valuation of that company, divide the figure of valuation of that company by the capacity in terms of tons. How many million tons of cement the company would produce? Arrive at the figure of value per ton of cement capacity, right? Value per ton of cement capacity. Now what you do, multiply this number, multiply this multiple with your capacity, your plant's capacity, and you will get a value which is supposed to be fair value of your company using the second label input as per Ind AS 113. Likewise, you can do it for infrastructure company. Let's say the infrastructure company is in tower business, telephone tower business. So what you need to do, again, get the information, if you have the information, or you get the information of valuation of a tower company, find out the number of towers this company has, find out the value of this company per tower, and this multiple that you get, multiply this multiple with the number of towers your company has, or the company for which you are wanting to do the valuation. So when you multiply it, you will get the fair value of this company for which you are doing the valuation. And remember, friends, the logic is same. If two things are more or less same in every respect, then they must get the same kind of valuation. This is the logic behind the label to input valuation. Same thing, friends, you can do for hospital using BAD as the criteria, and power companies using the megawatt of the capacity in case of power companies, and in case of mining companies you can use the reserves. How much of the reserves are available of the iron ore or whatever the it may be, and then you can also do the based on the customer multiple. Now this of course is very interesting and dangerous also. A lot of these companies will do the evaluation based on the footfall. How many people visited my mall? Based on that, people would do the evaluation, or people will do the valuation of some of the IT companies based on how many people visited the website, how many people clicked on the website, how many people viewed the site. Now this method is available, people are using. You want to use it, please do so, but with lot of precaution. Why lot of precaution?
Under
Wait,
which
wait, wait.
domain?
One second, Surya. Why precaution? Because the .com bust, if you would remember, was a classic example of this kind of valuation. So and as I had mentioned to in our earlier session, see, everything is fine. Level 1 is good, level 2 is good, level 3 is also good, but it is always better when you are doing valuation to ensure that your value is linked with money, because ultimately what counts is money. So your valuation is linked with money. So use level 1, use level 2, use level 3, use level 3 for sure. DCF, in my view, is the most dependable and reliable. So for the purpose of Index 113, quote is all okay. But when you are doing valuation in real life situation, you can use market quote, you can use a second level unit input, but support it with the cash flow, support it with the DCF. That is most dependable way of doing the valuation.